Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about empowerment and how to foster it.
Recently, many companies have been rolling out cultural, managerial, digital, or organizational transformation plans. We're all for it once sometimes, and there's a theme that keeps coming up. The importance of encouraging employees to play an active role in these transformations.
But simply urging them to get involved and assume their responsibilities isn't enough. For every employee to feel truly implicated, the company has to assume its responsibilities. It has to make sure it's giving everyone the means to be involved. So, how do you foster empowerment? What's the story?
All companies have to meet a dual imperative of simultaneously achieving productivity and adaptability. However, the dominant organizational structures are limited when it comes to combining these two imperatives. So, we have to change. We have to undergo a transformation.
And with this transformation, change becomes a normal and constant part of a company's life. Successfully doing that is first and foremost about people. People have to adapt their behaviors to reality out in the field by taking initiative, making decisions, and, often, accepting risk.
And that's exactly what empowerment is about. It gives an individual or a group the autonomy they need to be responsible for the initiatives they roll out.
With great power comes great responsibility, as Spider-Man's Uncle Ben says, or Franklin Roosevelt. We'll let you choose your preferred source.
Choosing empowerment for your teams in a transformation means giving them more independence so they can adapt models and processes to the reality on the ground. And that is a praiseworthy endeavor.
But the concept of individual empowerment cannot replace collective responsibility, particularly when it comes to managers. They are responsible for creating the conditions that make it possible for each employee to take the initiative. They must be given the means to act, the space to behave like entrepreneurs.
It probably seems obvious that if you want results from someone, you have to give them the means. The best baker in the world can't make good bread with a snap of his or her fingers. They would need tools, ingredients, a workspace, and of course time.
And let's not forget that they need to know how to use the means. Empowerment aside, you have to have the skills required for a mission to succeed in any profession.
But doing your job with more autonomy may require new specific skills. In other words, it's not enough to promote empowerment for your teams with words. You have to make sure that they have the required skills and develop them.
And there are plenty of ways to do that: training, integration, shadowing, webinars, mentoring, workshops, job coaching, co-development, and the list goes on.
You have to be careful not to take things too far. Describing the behaviors expected, tasks to be completed, or procedures to be followed in too much detail won't help people develop more skills. It will make them feel belittled and is counterproductive.
So, the answer is giving local managers the tools to relay the culture of empowerment. They need to know what's expected of them. How should they give feedback? How should they organize their teams? How should they delegate or manage their time and priorities?
But watch out, don't fall back into the logic of command and control management, which we are trying to move beyond.
Little tips and tricks, or in-and-out behaviors, could be content easily shared throughout the company to help people change their mindset and support them as they adopt new ways of working.
That's a great way to modify company culture slowly but surely, as long as the best practices and other bits of advice remain advice and not orders. They should simply be an invitation for employees to step back, look at the bigger picture, and develop critical thinking skills.
To recap, empowerment is a worthy goal if you want to achieve continuous adaptation, a crucial challenge in business. To be successful, this shift must be underpinned in equal measures by the individual responsibility of employees to find their own solutions, and the collective responsibility of the company to provide the means for them to do so. It's more about culture than about tools or methods. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short. Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.